lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
A Monday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo with you with Mike Rizzo and Christian Catt. We're at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Next 2 hours with us on ESPN 106.3, on ESPN West Palm, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Live streaming there. Packed program today because we got an opening weekend of the MLB season where everybody is now accusing the Yankees of cheating with the new fancy bats, the torpedo bats. We'll get into that. We got the Final Four set in stone, the second time since the NCAA tournament has expanded in 1985 to a 64-team format. Just the second time, first since 2008, that 4 1 seeds are officially in the Final Four, and the last teams remaining. 4 1 seeds, 4 teams that could win it all. We'll get into that. We got a little, basically a malice in the palace last night between the T-Wolves and the Pistons, where 17 people got ejected. I love it. I love a little story like that.
It's always in Detroit.
And you got right here locally at the Breakers in Palm Beach, you have the NFL annual league meetings where I stopped by earlier today for some coach availability. And surprise, surprise, Mike Tomlin was swamped in the Steelers camp. But it was cool because you got to see a bunch of the league media. You got to see a bunch of some friend of show that we know, and you got to see some of the coaches on the AFC side of things. The NFC is tomorrow, but it sounds like my vibe in that room, and this morning, and you're kind of like a fly on the wall trying to get a sense, let the beat writers do their job with their specific local teams, is that tush push is being banned. We'll get into that a little later on in the program, but my takeaway is even with Schefter tweeting out that, it's picking up steam, and that's what I heard. And listen, I have no sources, but that's just everybody in there has sources, and I don't. But it sounds like that's going to get banned. But very bizarre. We got a special guest coming up too, which I'm interested in because I think the big story from the weekend is MLB. Have they found the ore of the new bats, the golden bats?
No, not golden bats. The torpedo belly, baby. Let's go.
It's bizarre. So we're going to talk to Chuck Schupp of Chandler Bats, the sales team there. And Chandler Bats, which is located up in Port St. Lucie, it's the third largest bat company in the MLB. And they're most notable for helping spearhead some of these torpedo bats, including the ones on the Yankees. So we'll talk to Chuck Schupp and break down what the hell those bats are, if it's cheating, if it's not cheating, if it should be banned, if it's going to be banned, and just why the Yankees were able to score 36 runs in 3 games over the weekend over the Milwaukee Brewers. And they had 9 home runs on Saturday, including 3 in the first 3 pitches of the game against Nestor Cortez. You had Anthony Volpe going launching one into the stands. Anthony Volpe, a guy who couldn't, with a boat oar, couldn't find the ball last year. So you got Jazz Chisholm, who's got like 3 homers on the year. I mean, at a certain point, geez.
He had two yesterday on Sunday and one in the previous game over the weekend. My first reaction, Colin, was, the Yankees are cheating. And then I heard Christian yell at me when I said the Yankees were cheating. Theoretically, I heard Christian yell at me. So I did my due diligence of actually looking it up. I mean, these bats have been around for years. And it's really getting the play now. There are a bunch of other teams that kind of experimented with the torpedo bat in spring training, but never really, so to say, pulled the trigger on it. And the Yankees, I feel like, were the first team to, they were the first team to really display this. Here's my two things on it. It's great for pull hitters, right? I mean, all the Chisholm home runs were he was pulling it. He was pulling them to right field. He's a lefty. He was pulling them to right field. I think what pitchers, this league, Colin, is so like they're going to adjust. It's an adjusted league. Like if you have a torpedo bat and they see you with a torpedo bat, they're going to throw you outside stuff. They're going to make you barrel it on the outside instead of hitting the inside of that bat. Now, we're going to go deeper into this thing at 425. That's my 2 cents on it. It's not cheating. Once I did my due diligence on it, I felt foolish on telling my friends I thought the Yankees were cheating. And it's been something that's been going on for a while now. So I'm completely fine with it. And listen, pitchers adjust. Instead of complaining about it, like a couple of pitchers were like, who was it? The McGill fella for the Brewers. Start adjusting. Start looking at the film and start throwing the outside stuff.
Well, so for those who don't know, the torpedo bat is something that has now finally caught its name in the flack in the wind, in the MLB scope of things. It's a bat where the barrel of the bat is lower and closer to the batter's hands. It favors those that tend to get jammed up on pitches, and in what usually would be a pop out, they get a little bit more actual contact, and therefore more power, distance, and the whole thing. Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm, guys who had home runs who are using these bats, especially on the Yankees. So now the thing is, to Mike's point, these have been around, but it's about mastering how to use it. The Yankees, Aaron Judge does not use it. And no. Aaron Judge he's got 5 home runs and about 11 RBIs.
He's killing it.
So
historic start.
And he's already got 5, whatever. Point being, there were some non-power hitters on the Yankees that showcased some pop, even in a small stadium, with these bats. And now all of a sudden, are these bats legal? Are these bats, is this going to be the next big thing in the MLB? From what I've heard, the Chandler bats who make Judge's bats, who make Bryce Harper's bats, who make Shohei Ohtani's bats up in Port St. Lucie, they've gotten a lot of calls from teams, agents, players that they want to get in on the action. And whether that means that all of a sudden these guys are going to get a new bat and it's going to be like Thunderstruck where they get the new talent all of a sudden. These guys are better hitters. That's what's going on.
Right.
They have good hitting coaches. The Yankees have always had good hitting coaches. These guys are better hitters and they're hot. Yeah, the bat maybe helps a little bit. Doesn't change how they play. That's the bottom line there. We'll get into that at 425, so stick around for that. Meantime, over the weekend, Elite Eights, I was under the impression we'd get a little bit more competition. The Texas Tech-Florida game was an excellent game. Other than that, a whole lot of nothing.
Kyle, listen, I'm up a couple of units. I told you and Christian Cat I expect all the 1 seeds to be in the Final Four. Granted, I was betting $10 a game, so Christian, it's not like I'm up $1,000 or anything. But certainly, Kyle, I took my own word and bet all the 1 seeds. Now, the one that I lost, I believe it wasn't even the 1 seed. It was a Michigan State game. What was it, on Saturday? The Ole Miss game, Colin? The final 3 at the buzzer. Did you see how that one ended? That was the
Friday game.
That was the only bet that I lost all weekend. Other than that, I took all the 1 seeds, and I was able to win some cash. I take no pleasure in it, but at the same time, you kind of knew it was that year.
The problem is the college basketball sphere at the moment is so bubbled. You have the mid-major, low-major teams who we talked about just a week ago saying that they were a little outmatched, outfavored. NIL kills them. They can't compete with the Power 4 conference teams. They can't compete with the SEC, the Big Ten, just because they don't have the resources in order to get these players because everybody else gets plucked. That was point number 1 that we made last week. Then you simulate another week, and now the new point is, there's good teams in the 1 through 4 seed spots, the Purdues of the world, but or the Alabamas of the world. But there's also levels to this. There's the 1 seeds that operate in their own little bubble, separate from the other bubble. It's like you're compartmentalizing down the list. And then now I'm starting to think that I'm under the impression that there's another bubble with just Duke. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
It might be Duke, then the 1 seeds, then the 1 through 4s, the teams that didn't lose in the first round, and then the mid-major teams. That is, this year of college basketball, that is what that has been. Now it has been Duke at the top, and then everybody else sort of falling back in line in the ladder.
So you're with me now in the sense of that Duke is like the UConn of the past couple of years. Are you there yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You're not there that Duke is just going to win the whole thing, and it's and
I
that's
don't.
where I'm at.
The thing I like about this Final Four, and I think this will be a great Final Four, and I'm just saying that as an optimist of the college basketball sphere. And I know Christian Cat, who's our producer today, was upset because of the quality of games. And he's right. These games have not been that good. There have been lopsided affairs, especially in the second halves, for the most part of these games.
There have. And I said, Colin, I didn't want Cinderella, but I also didn't want, just complete chalk.
There's been one OT. There's been one game winner.
And listen, if there is chalk, at least have some drama in these games.
Not a lot of drama.
Nothing. So that Michigan State, that Michigan State game, you never thought they were going to win the game yesterday. You never thought that they were going to come back.
When Broom went down, that game changed. When Janai Broom went down with an injury, I thought he was done, and that changed the game a little bit. But then he comes back in, hits a 3, and the game was over. The point being is, I hope that the 4 teams remaining, the 4 1 seeds, the good thing about it is they're all 4 historically rated teams in terms of efficiency, in terms of offense, defense, the whole thing. You got to think that finally we'll get 4 teams that I think can all win the championship, win the title. They're that good. Hopefully in a bit of a gauntlet over 3 games. That is the goal. All right, well, we had our crappy games for the most part of this tournament. It's been pretty uneventful, not dramatic in the slightest sense. That is that. Now let's get to a bloodbath. This is what we want to watch. This is what we want to watch. Powerhouses slug it out. If we're going to be here, and rarely do you get 4 teams that all 4 of them can win it all like this, 4 favorites in a way. I think this has a very good chance of being a very good, a generational type of Final Four.
This is what I asked for, too. I asked for the best teams to be here, and all 4 best teams are here. All 4 1 seeds are here. I'm more intrigued with the Auburn-Florida SEC matchup than I am with Duke and Houston. I am under the impression that Duke is like the UConn this year. I think Duke is probably going to win the national championship and run away with this thing. But I believe, Colin, I do agree with you that SEC Final Four is going to be electric. 2 teams that know each other, 2 teams that have played each other throughout the season. I think that SEC Final Four is going to be a lot of fun, but I do think Duke is going to run away with it. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. The whole thing. I hope I'm wrong. They just seem like I have a term, a team of destiny. They really just seem like a team of destiny.
I'd flip that. I think Florida's the team of destiny.
With the win against UConn.
Because they've had dramatic wins.
Sure.
They were buried dead to rights against UConn. They were buried against Texas Tech. That is a little bit more. Duke hasn't been challenged. Duke is the Goliath in this scenario.
That's why, and nonetheless, that's why I think team of destiny. I think Florida's been flirting with catastrophe, but I understand the point. You got to have character, right? You got to have some wins that have some character in this tournament to win it all. I totally understand that point as well.
So I could see Duke running away with this as well, unfortunately. But the gut in me tells that I think you're going to get 3 really good games. I do. Part of me thinks Houston's due. They're going to be they have all week to prepare for Duke defensively.
The Purdue matchup didn't worry you?
No. Because then you could say, did the UConn matchup worry you with Florida?
Right. I get it. You have those games.
I haven't seen games.
My thing is,
and we knew going into the tournament that Duke's bracket was easy.
It was, and that's the issue, though. I thought Alabama was a formidable side, Colin. I thought they probably would have put up a better fight than they did, so to say, which is why I've kind of just completely all right, Duke's the team, and that's probably going to be it. But like you said, let's be optimistic about this thing. Let's hope we get some good games, and let's hope we get some good watches.
That's the key.
That's 3
all we games remaining. Can we get 3 good games, please?
And Colin, you and I, we don't have any dogs left. We don't root for any of these teams. Can we just get some good games, man?
Somebody beat Duke. That's the idea. Duke might be in their own little bubble. Somebody beat Duke. That's all I care about. Somebody beat Duke. Houston, give them a good punch, and then one of the SEC teams, please take them down. That's all I'm asking for.
Should I feel foolish for asking for this and now regretting it because the games have been so bad? I'm the one who said no Cinderella, no Cinderella. Well, we didn't have the Cinderella.
That we're here. I think it's a problem that there hasn't been a lot of drama in the games. These games haven't been good. Right. They straight up have not been good.
They really haven't.
Start too late. They go to 1 a.m, and there's not a lot of drama attached to it.
We had
the Texas Tech Arkansas game was very good.
Okay.
And the Texas Tech Florida game got really interesting towards the end. Other than that, second weekend was totally uneventful.
And that's, I'm even willing to go farther back like that Maryland. Like if we go farther back, Colin, we could still count on the number on our hand, the good games in this tournament. Like the Colorado State and Maryland game, that was a good game. I have a hard time remembering really any thrillers other than that. Like I think the St. Mary game was a thriller when we were at Kaiser
Florida
University.
Was good.
But that's
St. John's Arkansas was good.
It's 5 games.
Yeah, Colorado State Maryland was good.
usually we give like 10, 15 games. It's been like 5 games.
Only been one OT. Texas Tech has been a good game throughout. I mean, basically all the games they've played have been pretty good. Michigan A&M was interesting.
How about Tennessee, buddy?
What? They got blitzed.
Oh, my God. 15 points? Colin, 15 points.
Yeah, they got blitzed.
You could chuck up a couple of threes and get 15.
They were. No, they were. Trust me, they
bud.
were. Don't. That's not the strategy. That was the strategy.
I'm just saying, though, man. I mean, geez, 15.
I was a little embarrassed. A little?
It's an Elite Eight game.
888-760-3776. And I'm going to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo. Final Four action coming up this Saturday. We go to New Jersey, Cologne in New Jersey. You're on Russo and Rizzo. Cologne, what's up? What do you got?
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, you know what I find interesting was that like Duke, they had 3 starting freshmen, and Auburn, Florida, and Houston, they have at least 3 starting seniors, and Auburn, I believe, all 5 of them are seniors. So my point being is, I kind of like the fact that they are seniors. That's why we're seeing better games, and that Walter Clayton Jr., Texas Tech in Florida, he is a senior, and that was a great play he did with him. That was the play of the game where he drove to the basket, they collapsed on him inside, so he drove back out and shot a 3 and made it a clutch 3. To me, that was the play of the game. But my point being is that, I kind of like the seniors because it's better basketball, and the games over the weekend had really good ratings. And basically, obviously, because they're all number 1 and they're all big schools. And you're right, we want to see the better team, and we want to see the big name schools. So that's why I do think on Saturday, that's why I think Duke is playing second. Because obviously the bigger name. But I do want the better games, and I'm rooting for Bruce Pearl and Kevin Sampson. I do think they're a really good coach, and I think their time has come. To win a championship. I don't think they. Past this, and you never know if they get back there again.
All right. Appreciate the call, Cologne. Thanks for tuning in. Cologne is pro-Auburn, pro-Houston in that scenario, but I think Cologne's right. It's a bunch of senior-ridden teams that have played together, a little bit of implants here versus a Duke team that is probably a perfectly constructed roster. If you listen to Nate Oates, the Alabama coach, post-game in the presser, he was crestfallen about how it's impossible, especially on short notice with the 2 days rest, to prepare for somebody like Duke. So you got the star-studded, you got 5 NBA players on that Duke team versus a bunch of senior-ridden teams. That's why I think that these games are going to be interesting, because you got the experience versus the inexperience. And Duke does have some older guys, but their best players are freshmen.
Agreed. Best players are freshmen, but they did hit in the portal with the Gillis kid from Purdue, and they do have transfers. So I think it's a mixture of both. And I love what you said there. Kind of just a perfected roster at that point for the Blue Devils. And when you got a player like Cooper Flagg, who's the best player in the country at 17, 18 years old, I mean, it's going to be hard to match up with that for anybody that plays that team. And this is the NIL, man, with all the fifth-year seniors and fourth-year guys who are getting a second go at it. This is college basketball of 2025, where you're getting all these older-ridden rosters who are going to be outperforming everyone because, Colin, they've been there before. A lot of these guys have been in these big moments before, and they know how to perform.
We'll see. David versus Goliath, and we got 3 Davids and 1 Goliath. And
all right, hang on. I'm not calling Florida David. I'm not calling Auburn David, but I understand.
What did you say about Duke?
I understand the point.
What did you just say about Duke?
It's hard for any team to match up with them, but Colin, I refuse to call these teams that have lost under 7 games. The majority of these teams have lost under 7 games. I'm not calling them David, but they're 1 seeds.
I am. If there's 2 levels to this, if you're that confident in Duke, that's why. Right. On the flip side of things, we'll talk to Chuck Schupp of Chandler Bats. You want to hear about what's going on with the torpedo bats, why the Yankees have hit so many home runs, basically hit 15 home runs in their first weekend? Well, we'll talk to a guy who knows why these bats have worked for them and why it might be the future of Major League hitting. Stick around for it. Chuck Schupp coming up on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Saturday, April 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Kaiser University's flagship campus transforms into the ultimate auto showroom. The Kaiser University Auto Show of the Palm Beaches with vehicles from nearly every manufacturer. Enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure environment to find the car of your dreams. Plus, it's free. Saturday,
doesn't really care for him. I mean, he's hitting with his regular Chandler.
I don't think Judge can hit with a pool cue.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, geez.
Right. And then Stanton used it some last year. Now, obviously, he's on the shelf with an injury, so I'm not sure where that's all going to go. But Jazz was one of the guys that liked it. Obviously, they had success that weekend. So, I don't know. It doesn't give a guy a better advantage over the pitcher. It's just supposed to be dialed into his specific hitting criteria and make him more efficient. So, to me, over the course of time, that will prove whether it's a benefit or not. It's just, a couple games is not a sample size to work with.
So that's interesting, Chuck. You mentioned it's tailored to the specific player. So it's not one size fits all. This is, you are allowed to tailor the barrel of the bat for a specific player. Do I have that right?
Yes, as long as it meets the specs of Major League Baseball. So it used to be the equipment manager would call, I want a 35-33 cupped black. Now we get a PDF file from the Yankees that has all this stuff measured literally in millimeters. You have to load it in the computer and build the bat off of that. So it's pretty dialed into one player's specs. Now, knowing the way ball players are, guys will look at each other's bats. They swap bats. They use each other's bats. So it doesn't mean, it's not usable. It's just it was built for player A versus player B. And that's even the case today with all the different models you see in a ball game. I mean, it's all tailored to a degree, just not this finite of a degree.
Aaron Lenhart is the guy you're talking about, the mastermind of the Yankees, who is a PhD from MIT level student, was a physics professor, now is the guy tasked with sort of bridging that gap between the analytics and the on-field performance, sort of the next step in analytics. Now, Chuck, I got to get a sense here. This has gotten a ton of publicity by players, agents, teams, just off the Yankees weekend. They had 9 home runs on Saturday. They broke a franchise record. You don't just do that every day.
Right.
So they did that. Give me a sense from Chandler Bat's perspective. Was every phone in the building ringing off the shelf? How did the last 48 hours look for you guys?
I will tell you this. I've been doing this a long time. I probably had 50 text messages. Other people in the company had similar. We got emails from Japan, Little League organizations. I mean, it was a perfect storm. It's the New York Yankees. They have a big weekend. It's a big news story. And their interest was phenomenal. So if the guys had, gotten 2 hits, struck out 5 times, it wouldn't even be a story. But it's been phenomenal. We've already gotten sample orders from several big league teams. Guys just want to see it. They're not sure they're going to hit with it. All these guys are always searching for the next best thing. No matter how good you are as a big league hitter, there's always some doubt sometime in the season when you're not hitting well, or should I use a lighter bat, a bigger barrel, whatever the case might be. So guys are they're curious, basically. I talked to several of the San Francisco Giants players yesterday, and they really weren't interested in ordering right then. They just wanted to ask me a bunch of questions on, well, what's it do when the barrel is narrow at the end? Is that good or bad? Questions like that. So it's still in its infancy to see where this thing goes, but it's going to be an option. It meets all major league specifications. It's legal.
Chuck, do you think that this is going to be something that sticks? Is it a fad? You've been working with bats, 40 years of experience in baseball equipment. Do you see this being a fad, or do you kind of see pitchers adjusting and punching in that outside corner to avoid throwing the inside stuff?
I'd say right now it's going to have a niche. I'm not so sure I would say it's not going to be a current wave, because what I see now versus 15 years ago is totally different. We used to use ash. Now ash is gone. It's all maple. With the 25-year-old player now that's playing and the analytics departments these teams have, it's not that big a stretch for these guys to do analytics on every one of these guys if all these teams decide to do that. Now, do they want that particular bat? It's hard to say, because it's such a radical different looking product. And like you just said, when you see what that bat looks like, it doesn't have a lot of forgiveness in the inside pitch. It's pretty thin. The barrel looks great, but you're not going to hit the ball in the sweet spot every time. It's just not going to happen. You got to be
Chuck, is the actual specs itself, are they teetering on the edge of what is legal and what is not in the MLB standards of how you make a bat? I'm curious. I don't even know.
Not really. There's nothing borderline or scary about it. It's just you have to – the rules state about barrel size and length, weight, but they also specify on how light a piece of wood you can use, because if you use really, really light wood, the stuff's not going to hold up. It's going to explode. And that's what everybody wants to avoid. Major League Baseball, the companies, the player, no one wants to get, anybody hit by a bat that breaks. So we just got a memo from Major League Baseball just reinforcing the fact that the bat is legal as long as you make it in the specs that we already have, move forward and do it. So it's not like, some of the stuff you see on Twitter or whatever, the bat is not illegal. It just looks different. And we'll see, it's going to be interesting to watch this and who uses it consistently, because guys change bats a lot of times during the season. Guys like Judge, Ohtani, they don't change anything. They stay the same. But a lot of guys aren't those two guys.
They go through ebbs and flows of hitting, so they got to mix it up.
Yeah, and, but I also tell these guys, I say, you look at the very best hitters in baseball, there's a common thread. They don't change. Derek Jeter never changed. A-Rod never changed. Ohtani doesn't change. Judge doesn't change. So what they know is if they're going bad, it's not the bat. It's something mechanically wrong they're doing, and they figure it out. So there's always going to be room for interpretation of, is this thing great or is it just average? So it's going to be real interesting to see. We've got a flood of orders for samples, and we'll see if that produces business long term. We don't know yet. It's just so new.
Looking from afar, it looks like it's helping business quite a bit. Chuck Schupp of Pro Sales Chandler Bats joining us now, 40-plus years in the business. The Torpedo Bat's now making its name for around the MLB, even amongst the players and the teams, the new analytical approach to how you construct a bat. And, Chuck, let me get this straight. So each individual player, it's almost like you're fitting, like it's a perfect fit. It's like getting a bike fit. And you have to make sure that whatever works for you, works for you. These analytics departments will determine where they're hitting it, where they're actually getting barreled to the ball, or where they're not. Right. And they will alter a bat with the specs that you guys helped them with to add to that and to therefore give them more power, more drive in the whole thing. That's how it goes with each individual player.
Yeah, I think you pretty much summarized it perfectly. It's, they're trying to give them the perfect chance to succeed. Now, it's still an athletic event. Failure is part of baseball, correct? If you hit 333, you're good, and you still fail 7 out of 10 times. So there's going to be failure involved as always, but it's just trying to maximize the contact point and the performance once they do make contact.
Now, Chuck, I don't want you to denounce the bats, but the Yankees, you said perfect storm. Them hitting this well this weekend has, a lot to do with, sometimes better bat adjustments and everything like that. Is it being a little, blown in the wind with how everybody wants to chalk it up completely to the bats? I don't think that's a fair assessment. Would I be wrong on that?
Okay. Heavens no.
Yeah.
The ball players they're still the Yankees. They got a hell of a lineup. I mean, it's not there's no magic wand out there. If there was, I wouldn't be working 40 years in the bat business. You just sell them for about $10,000 a piece, right? Mm-hmm. If it was the bat and not the player, but it never is. It's it's a journey for these guys. It's a marathon, and the players. I'm just impressed the Yankees have come out the way they have, because they've had some injuries with Stanton. I'm not sure when he's going to play, and some other things that these guys have stepped up. So. It's surely a strong start for them, and we'll see what happens. Look at this thing 50 games from now and 100 games from now, and see where everything lands.
Chuck, last thing here: 40 years in the business. Is this comparable to anything you've ever dealt with on the equipment side of things?
I would say that there's nothing that's touched this, and I think the reason being, and you guys are in the media. When I started the Slugger, there was no internet, no Twitter, none of that stuff. So, when something happened like that with New York in 1987, you might read about it in the paper, you might not. That was the only way you're going to know about it. Now, instant it happens, It's on Twitter, it's on the New York Post website, it's on ESPN, it's on MLB.com. So it has really, really blown this thing up. I mean, I've done several interviews today and have a couple more tomorrow and Wednesday from all different places. Washington Post, even Inside Edition called us, for goodness sake. They wanted to do a story about it. I mean, it's pretty wild, to be honest with you.
And Chuck, you think a lot of teams are about to jump on ship here, don't you, with the new bats, huh?
Well, they're going to try them. Yeah, we'll see. But sampling and ordering long term is two different animals. We'll see what happens. But it gives us a reason to talk to the customer again and possibly get a player we didn't have before. All the companies, it's not just us making this bat. Any company in the business is capable of doing it. It's just they got to be able to execute it and do it right.
Chuck, we appreciate you giving us the time, giving us a little bit of insight into the new torpedo bats that have finally sort of blown up a little bit throughout the MLB. Appreciate the time. Best of luck with the packed couple days of media tour you got ahead of you, but appreciate it.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much. Take care.
You got it. Take care. That is Chuck Schupp of Chandler Bats, 40-plus years in the business, a guy who is heavily involved in the new expansion of the torpedo bats. The Yankees, of course, utilized these over the weekend. Not Judge, but the other role players throughout that lineup, the Jazz Chisholms of the world, have noticed a considerable more amount of power and pop and barrel to ball, the whole thing. And a lot of people are chalking it up to new bats. Are they legal? Are they not? Well, we just found out they are legal. And it's been a thing since last year in spring training when the Yankees invited some MIT grad to come do some analytics department. Looks to be the next step in analytics, Spin rate was big with pitching, and then the sticky stuff made its headway. But now it's the bats and the specs to the bats.
To that point, a stat that a lot of, quote-unquote stat geeks throughout baseball are looking at, Colin, is barrel rate. How many times is a guy barreling a ball? If he's getting out, is it a barrel ball on a line drive? Is it a hard line out? It makes sense that they would try to take advantage of this. This is crazy, though. Like that last question that I asked, Colin, have you ever seen anything like this? I expected that answer. And he was completely right in the sense of, in the 80s, you read things in the paper. The media wasn't what it is. I mean, Colin, I couldn't look anywhere on any baseball forum and not see the damn torpedo bat being mentioned over the weekend.
Torpedo bats, the next big thing in baseball. Is that where it's all heading? Is every team going to jump on ship here? I think it's too small of a sample size. People want to run away with it.
Guess what?
After 3 games, these guys are pro hitters. They're getting better at hitting.
Kyle, the Brewers, the team they played, they are down 9-0 to the Kansas City Royals right now. So I think it might be more of a Brewer problem than maybe a torpedo bat. We'll have to wait and see. 45
runs in 4 games. My goodness. It's National Car Wash Week. It was National Car Wash Day on Saturday and on Friday, I believe. And Russo and Rizzo, we're giving away a free car wash at Unlimited Auto Wash. You could get started, and all you got to do to get a free car wash is call in 888-760-3776. We're doing caller number 5. 888-760-3776 for a free car wash at Unlimited Auto Wash. 888-760-3776. Caller number 5 gets it. Call in to Russo and Rizzo right now. We're taking time out on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A Monday edition of the program on ESPN 106.3. It's Russo and Rizzo with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. A beautiful Monday afternoon here where we got the owners' meetings taking place just across the pond at the Breakers in Palm Beach, where they got basically every GM, every media member associated with NFL media, all the NFL big brass in the league office, and basically anybody you could possibly imagine involved in the NFL outside the players are staying right now at the Breakers, where they're doing the league meetings, where they're voting on how to change certain things. I know they changed today. They voted to approve that Thursday Night Football to shift them out, to slot them out, or to slot them into Thursday Night Football. They used to need a month's notice to do that. And now all of a sudden, with a vote, now it's 21 days. So more teams can get slotted in and out of Thursday Night Football on a shorter time period. And I think the big one that at least was the talk of the town this morning was the tush push. I was listening to Aaron Glenn's media availability, the new coach of the New York Jets. And there was a reporter that straight up asked him, Aaron, tush push, where's your stance on it? Straight up. And Aaron Glenn immediately went right back at him, and he goes, what's your stance on it? And he goes, I got friends in Philly. I got to be careful with what I say here. In my opinion, sort of deflected a little bit.
Right.
And went on to say, he's like, my job as a coach is to stop it. Well, Aaron, I think we're talking about on the field, not logistically via the rules to stop it.
So Glenn went.
It sounded to me like he was going to vote ban it, but I mean, it sounds like the talk of it was it's getting a lot of steam in the NFL circle.
Glenn went full on tough guy, huh?
It wasn't hostile.
Sure, but I got to stop it.
Right.
How was the vibes there? By the way, interested on the vibes there because
it was a zoo, but it was great. There's a lot of people. But it was cool. You saw a lot of the NFL media guys who were doing TV spots outside, radio spots, beat writers from all over the place. You saw the AFC coaches today. But the big takeaway I had, people were curious on what Brian Callahan was going to do with the number 1 overall pick. Mike Tomlin should have had his own tent. That's how swarmed he was on what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. And it sounds like it's just a waiting game. Is Rodgers going to make a decision anytime soon? Nobody knows. And it sounds like everything was positive from Tomlin's perspective, and they're just waiting for Aaron. Hello? Make a decision. And then The tush push, which I'm curious to see Sirianni, who's going to have media availability tomorrow with the Eagles. Sounds like people are over it. Whether to change it, you can't have somebody push on the quarterback right after the snap. Something along the lines of that. It sounds like that's where this is heading. And I disagree with this completely. This is a football play that everybody else can do if they want. It is not a exposure or an exploitation of resources or manpower. It is straight up, we found a play, we have perfected it, and therefore we can't do it anymore when there's plenty of opportunity, ample opportunity on the flip side of things to stop it. I completely disagree with it.
The talks were, it's not going to work anymore because Jason Kelsey's not there. Oh, it's not going to work anymore because they're revamping the offensive line. Well, it turns out that Sirianni, the offensive staff, whoever deserves the flowers, really knows some football and really knows what to do. And I think a lot of it is the quarterback too, Colin. Would you agree? A lot of it is Hurts and the way he could wiggle around and the way he's built.
He's a big body.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's Bush League that they want to cancel it because teams can't find out ways to stop it. Now, I sit here and call Aaron Glenn a tough guy. I actually like the answer. It's my job to figure it out. If you want to stick by the book and say what you're supposed to say, that's exactly what you're supposed to say. It's my job to stop it.
But he wouldn't give an answer on whether he was voting for or against it.
Right.
That's where maybe that's, keep it quiet.
Hence why I called him a tough guy.
Why are we doing that? Like, I don't understand. Now it's like they're so happy that the Green Bay Packers, who were essentially the whistleblower in this case, essentially the team that went to the league and said, hey, can we ban this? So they take all the bad PR, and everybody else wants to just jump on the train and act all unscathed.
Right. Kind of like the Baseball Hall of Fame. You don't know, but Kyle, who votes on the Hall of Fame? Who's that one idiot who didn't vote Ichiro in? You know what I mean? It's kind of the card that they're playing is we're incognito. But I'm with you from what you're saying and from what I've heard from out of Breakers, Kyle. That thing's gone, dude.
If I had a cookie,
that thing's gone.
If I had a cookie for every time a coach was talking about we're just looking to compete, if I had a cookie for every time a coach said that,
we're just looking to compete.
We're trying in some level of competition. That is the go-to, guys. Everybody's trying to compete. We're on the same page.
Hey, coach, you trying to bring this guy in? Yeah, we're always trying to bring in competition. We're always trying to bring it.
Or, coach, what's your take? What do you look for? What are you looking for in your draft class? Instead of position, instead of look. And I understand
guys come in and compete.
Yeah, we're looking at guys who love competing. We want guys who love competing. As a team, coach, what can they expect from you in year one as head coach? They can expect competition because that's what I'm bringing. We're bringing competition, guys who are going to compete and fight every day. Coach, the previous three guys just said the same thing. Wow. I mean, I understand we're not trying to keep our cards close to our chest, and you don't want guys like Mike and I to run away with any quotes.
Right.
But, I mean, at a certain point, if I had a cookie for every time that they said they were looking to compete, oh, my God.
Coach talk, Kyle. Coach speak. There's a lot of coach speak going on at the Breakers, huh, bud?
It sure was. Sure was.
Now, Mike Tomlin gave us a tea leaf today. He's confident in Mason Rudolph. I believe that as much as
covering his back door. Yeah.
I believe that as much as I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to make a decision this week and not drag this out. I mean, come on.
You think Rodgers is going to drag this out further than this week?
Correct. I think he does.
Till when?
I don't know. Until he's ready. And who knows when he's going to be ready? That's my point. Like,
I think the key is he's got to do it before the draft. There's nothing going on right now.
Sure. Do it, but why? Let's put it in the perspective of Aaron Rodgers, which is very hard to kind of dictate.
Hey, good luck.
Exactly. Why does he have to decide before the draft? Like, I understand teams and Pittsburgh and whoever is waiting
to determine who they draft.
But like in Rodgers' mind, I want to see who they draft. That's where I'll go. I want to see what they do at that position.
That's not going to work. Because then the GM's going to say
I'm Aaron Rodgers.
The GM's going to say the hell with you.
But I'm Aaron Rodgers.
That's not going to work.
I'm a 4-time MVP and a Hall of Famer. I don't give a damn. I can do whatever I want.
Well, so what is he going to do? Who else is he going to sign? I don't understand. Maybe he'll do this, but I'm not seeing the line of reason.
No. I mean, the logical reason would be to sign before the draft. What I'm saying is you can't think like that when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
I think if he does that in 4 weeks from now, if he is still unsigned, he is going to be forced into retirement. That is my perspective. I don't think we will see any more Aaron Rodgers if he decides to prolong this past the draft. Because at a certain point, a team like the Steelers, they're being patient right now. I give the Steelers credit here. This is a little bit of patience.
You're not buying Mike Tomlin talking about
even Russell Wilson lost his patience.
You're not buying Mike Tomlin, and he's got faith in Rudolph.
He's just covering that. That sounds like tells me that he doesn't know either. That's why he said that. He doesn't know either.
No idea.
You'd think that maybe it's like, an open secret that he's going to take the job. Tomlin doesn't even know either. That we're all waiting on Aaron.
And to your point, I think Joe Sheen got sick of it. Now, I don't know how serious Rodgers to the Giants was, Colin, but clearly the Giants got sick of it too by going out and getting Wilson. You mentioned Wilson got sick of it too.
I don't know if they were ever in the driver's seat, but yeah, Russell Wilson was waiting for Rodgers to make a decision. And he's like, screw this. Whatever. I'm not dealing with this.
Right.
And he's right. He's right. The self-importance that it takes to do that. And listen, maybe he's considering retirement. And maybe that's why he's really taking his time here. Maybe that's what this is, retirement versus playing. All right. But there's about a week or two timer before draft season really kicks up where the free agency fun really starts to die down. And then we could start to, settle in our veterans on the roster instead of trying to play, who's going to where with Aaron Rodgers. That would be a waste of everybody's time.
To the point of, all right, let's go. Let's speed things up. When free agency first opens up, it's, oh, God, where's this guy going to sign? I can't wait.
I still have no doubt in my mind he is going to Pittsburgh. I have no doubt in my mind.
Now,
zero.
Did you see what his Afro team, the New York Jets, what the owner was talking about at the Breakers today? Jets owner, let me read you the headline. Jets owner Woody Johnson rips NFLPA survey as totally bogus. Now, to give a little context, the National Football League's Players Association comes out with their own rankings of things within a team's.
Report card, yeah.
It's a report card. And Woody Johnson, the owner, got an F for failure. So Woody Johnson comes out at the Breakers today and says that survey is totally bogus. Totally bogus.
Is it?
I just love the term totally bogus.
It is? We got to do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flywood Credit Union. On the flip side of things, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm and on ESPN 106.3. We take a timeout. Stick around. Second hour of Russo and Rizzo coming up.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
Miami, we know you can party, and we know you love your golf. So don't miss out, because the next Live Golf event isn't just big, it's a monster. Live Golf returns to Trump National Doral, April 4th to 6th. And because it's at Blue Monster, we're going big, as well as giants of the game in Rahm, DeChambeau, Koepka, and more. We've got huge DJ sets, epic street food, and ska punk legend Sublime headlining. Grab your tickets at livegolf.com. That's livegolf.com.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
It's the Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. 2 bets facing off. Winning side splits $250K in bonus bets every single day. Time to pick a side. Team underdogs or team favorites. Team over or team under. There's one way to settle this. Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. Pick a side for $1. Win your share of $250K or more today. Prize pool will be paid out in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Tonight, the Heat bring the fire to the nation's capital. Can Washington work some magic, or will Miami turn up the temperature? Pre-game begins at 6:30 here on ESPN 1063.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lithium batteries need to be disposed of properly. We've seen fires in recycling and garbage facilities here in Palm Beach County. Don't throw your lithium batteries into the garbage and don't put them in your recycle bins. Visit us at swa.org/LIB.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs. Time to start getting your ride ready for summer. Stop by the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs and try out one of our best wash packages, the Ultimate Plus. It gives you everything your car needs, inside and out, including our ceramic graphene coating. Or try one of our unlimited monthly plans, starting as low as $34.95 a month, or with inside and out plus tire shine starting as low as $49.95 a month. Visit any one of our 6 convenient locations or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo kicking things off here on ESPN 1063. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Tune in there. If you missed any of the show today, if you want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with you from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We got a little Jonathan Zaslow from the Zaslow Show 2.0 on ESPN Radio coming up around 5:20. We got a little 5 and 5 in the first few minutes. First, I got to tell you, if you're looking to really start your day off with a victory, with a firework, with a bang, you got to go over to F45 downtown West Palm Beach, locations in Wellington as well. F45, it's more the functional side of working out. You're in and out in about 45 minutes. You blink and it's over. You can kind of just follow along on the screen. They got 2 coaches on site making sure you're doing everything properly. You got a bunch of like-minded social fitness individuals that are there looking to just get a class on, get a sweat going, and get in and out, and also have a good time. Loud music blaring. It's not necessarily the Olympic lifts that maybe you're used to growing up, and at least I was used to growing up in lifting. It's more of the functional side, a lot of compound movements. And it's really just tailor-made to get a sweat going and to really feel good about the rest of your day. You can go to classes as early as 5:30 in the morning. You can even go to afternoon classes, 6:30 p.m. as well. If you try it now, your first 3 classes for $30. Go get a sense and see if that's the right type of exercise for you at F45. First 3 classes for $30. At F45, go find your nearest studio online at F45 or go to Instagram and check out the local ones. Instagram at F45 downtown West Palm Beach. It's time for us to jump around a little bit. First of all, Christian, how are you today?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Lovely. Thank you for asking. Scotty Scheffler was your big pick at the beginning of the Houston Open.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you get him at? Plus 450, something
Plus
like that?
Plus 450. What did he do the following day? Oh, I don't know. Tie the course record.
Yeah. And what did he do in the final round?
Gave Min Woo Lee his best shot. That's what he did.
You almost had it. I'll give you credit. You did almost have it.
Tied for second with Gary Woodland. I thought that
doesn't win our parlay, but you did a good job.
Listen, our parlay was gone before Scotty Scheffler even took the course.
That's what I wanted to bring up. My bet of the A's winning their first game in a 4-game series against the Mariners went haywire when Jose Leclerc came into the game and blew a 2-1 lead. So that's on me.
Just wait. I've got a winner for Live Golf Miami coming up.
And also,
which is coming up this weekend, by the way. You'll be on site.
Oh, yeah.
On Saturday.
And they're live, giving Rizzo the day off, actually.
Local programming. There you go.
I'm in Chicago for a wedding. I appreciate that, Christian. And I do need to apologize to our listeners because I put out a baseball parlay, and I had the Twins.
What, today?
Yes, today. I had the Twins getting back on track. They went 0-3 in their opening series. They lost every single game in St. Louis. I had them getting back on track against the White Sox. It's the White Sox. It's going to be terrible. Went 55 games this year. The White Sox won 9-0. And Martin Perez, their new starting pitcher this year, who's bounced around the MLB, kind of a journeyman, 6 innings pitched, no hits. Guy had a no-hitter. He had to come out of the game. He had 93 pitches. So I want to apologize to everyone out there who tailed the damn parlay and took the Twins in a 9-0 game that they lost. And guess what? The second leg, Christian, I had the Red Sox. They're down 7-3.
No,
so I am ice cold.
You blew this.
No, but you got to feel good
ice
about
cold.
That because
you weren't close.
Not even close. Wasn't even way off. It may.
It's almost better. It's almost better.
Yes, it is better because if you're going to lose half of your picks, which is probably the odds if you're betting on minus 110 picks, and you do parlays, you want them to come in the same parlay because going 1 for 2 in this parlay means the same thing. You lose versus going 0 for 2. Rather going 1 for 2 on two separate parlays.
But my ego is totally gone right now because I watched yesterday. I had a full day off, which is rare, boys. I mean, I must have watched 9 hours of baseball, keeping up every play, MLB beginning, the guards. I mean, anything you could shake a stick at. The Yankees and their home run derby. My God, count, I'm not going to get a single pick. That's a tough look, mate. For an MLB guy that I
because it's a regular season game.
It's a tough look, Kyle.
Because there's 162 games in a season.
And guess what, Christian? I'm going to grab intern Ashley again tomorrow, and we're going to create another parlay. That's the beauty of it.
Nice.
That's the beauty of it.
Can't win if you don't try.
Exactly.
Scared money doesn't make money.
No.
Go get the Hard Rock Bet today. Let's do a little 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union. Proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Well, chalk, and one more. Yes, chalk. All the 1 seeds are going to San Antonio in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. What are your thoughts so far this year on this edition of March Madness? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it boring? Are you excited for the elite?
It's funny because Christian came up to me today, who's not a big college basketball guy, but wants to get into the tournament. And he proceeds to tell me about how the sole good game this weekend Christian was busy for, so he couldn't watch it. And it was that Texas Tech Florida game, which was basically the sole good Elite 8 game that you missed. And so you didn't watch anything of interest on Saturday and Sunday, huh?
No. I turned the TV on, and I regret turning the TV on with those Elite 8 games. Listen, this is what you ask for, right? Hey, we don't want Cinderellas. We don't want this.
Well,
we
there's
don't want
none
that.
to choose from. It was a bunch of 2s and 3 seeds, but yes.
Well, yeah, I'm saying this is what you ask for at the first weekend. This is what the end result that was requested by Rizzo and half-heartedly Russo. You kind of wanted one Cinderella in there or not, but it was by and large considered a good thing for the rest of the tournament.
I want good games,
nothing.
dude. I want good games.
Colin, Christian, I'll wear this. If I'm not allowed to have this take, let me know if I'm a fraud. But yeah, this tournament stinks. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This has stunk. And I got what I wanted. But here's my rebuttal. Cinderella would have made this worse. Would it be a 100-point game instead of a 25-point game if beautiful Cinderella was there? I mean,
yes, because Cinderella got to where they were because they got lucky. They all of a sudden get hot from beyond the arc. They don't really belong there, but They have Luck's fortune, and that's how they stay in these games, and that makes it a little more interesting.
I agree with you, Christian. It has stunk, Kyle. I mean, outside, I told you about 5 games. We went through 5 games earlier in the show that were like, yeah, those are good games. I mean, usually we get that on the first day, right? Yeah. Usually you get 5 good games on the first day. We're at the Final Four.
What could happen in the Final Four of the national championship for this to make up for it?
3 good games, I'll be a happy camper.
No,
Kyle thinks we're getting the full.
If you get 3 triple overtime classics.
There could be 7 buzzer beaters, 6 overtimes in these final 3 games. It would not matter. But there's a reason why we say the first 4 days of the tournament are the most exciting days of sports. Is because that's the most exciting part of the tournament. We didn't get that at the perceived sacrifice of having a better second weekend of the tournament. A better
Which
next
hasn't
4
happened.
games. Didn't get that either. So I am done with it. I might not watch the games.
Now, Colin thinks we're going to get a magical ride in the Final Four, and I hope you're right, Colin.
I think it's going to be really good.
Right.
Am I wrong on that? I think it's going to be really, really good. Am I not allowed to say that?
I just think Duke's going to dominate Houston. They've dominated the whole tournament, and I think we're going to get one good game with Florida and Auburn. 2 teams that know each other, 2 teams that have played each other in the regular season. I think that's going to be close. They got the quality. Like I feel like, Kyle, with the 1 seeds outside, excluding the Florida game with UConn and the Florida with Texas Tech, all the other 1 seeds weren't really challenged. Like Auburn's biggest challenge was the 1 half of basketball in the first 2 halves of basketball, 1 against Creighton and 1 against their 16 seed. They really rolled the rest of their games.
So Ken Pom is a popular rating to determine how much better a team is than usually the crowd for that year. It is basically, think like 0 is about the strikingly terrible, but like plus 36. It's a rating metric system that college basketball uses, and it's very reflective of champions and teams that are top of the line, the whole thing. So Ken Pom is by the year. 4 of the top 10 Ken Pom teams, which date back to 1996 and 1997. 4 of the top 10 are playing on Saturday. Duke this year is number 2. Houston this year is number 6. Florida this year is number 8. And Auburn this year is number 10. Notable teams that are in that, 2014-2015 Kentucky is in that. 98-99 Duke is in that. UConn of last year is in that. These are all great teams. So I think it's just a testament to really just how lopsided the 1 seeds versus the field was. So sue me for being excited that maybe we're going to have some big gauntlet heavyweight matchups this weekend.
Well, the men's basketball tournament has turned into the women's college basketball tournament, where you have 4 great teams, and then in the first, second, third rounds, you get scores like 108-44.
Yeah.
Well, it happens, but I mean, there were good games. Like the Ole Miss Michigan State game was interesting. The Michigan Auburn game was interesting for the most part of it. Arkansas Texas Tech was good. Florida Texas Tech was good. There's not 100 of them.
It's 5.
But yeah, UConn on the women's side wins by 60 points a game.
If I was 14 years old 2 weeks ago and I stayed home sick to watch the tournament, I would have never forgiven myself.
If I stayed home sick, I would not have been pleased. I mean, from work, I wouldn't have been pleased. I agree. There's no doubt in my mind it did not have been a dramatic tournament. But it doesn't mean you can't be excited for the Final Four.
And I'm willing to tell you, it is stunk.
I was sold on the fact that because there was not the UConn of last year or the UConn of 2 years ago, there was not one dominant team to where it's them versus the field. I was sold on the belief that it was going to be a parity-filled, what the hell's going to go on, and we got the opposite of that. Somehow, the opposite of that.
4 of the top 10 Ken Pom teams of all time, since the rating started in 1996-1997, playing in the Final Four. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Not be excited?
I'm not.
This is a rare Final Four where all 4 teams can win it all. All 4.
You can get excited on Saturday morning. That's when you can get excited for. We have nothing to talk about.
You can't talk. Are you going to do a little Final Four live at Live Golf on Saturday?
I might mention it. Like, hey, coming up on ESPN 106.3, this is the programming schedule. That's my Final Four preview.
Yeah, was Christian going to be talking torpedo bats Saturday morning?
So you're going to avoid
Hey,
the
good
Final
listen.
Four. You're done with the Final Four, so we're not going to get your thoughts on this the rest of the week.
yeah.
We're on Monday.
So-
You're no longer allowed to speak about college basketball. So
Okay.
when we get 3 classics on Saturday and Monday of next week, you cannot say a word.
Fair enough.
You can't even watch it.
2.
You got to give us an evidence that you didn't watch it, too. We're going to make you suffer for
Live stream camera of me in my
Yes.
living room just watching Breaking Bad.
watching something else.
No, watch the Yankees.
Yeah, there we go. Number 2, the NFL owners' meetings are taking place right down the street at the Breakers in West Palm Beach. Colin, you were there. Theo from Theoretically Speaking from 2 to 4 here on ESPN 106.3 were there. What was it like?
Yeah, give
Who'd
me
you
the
talk to? What's going on?
Give me the vibes,
It was
dude.
cool. I got to talk to a couple of, I introduced myself to a couple of the Jags beat writers, which, I don't know, I follow those guys.
Colin, by the way, Jag
They're
fan,
the life
no
and
Jag
they're
fan.
the life and blood of the Jaguars followership. So I gave them their props. I introduced myself to Liam Cohen, the Jacksonville Jaguar head coach, and he said, "Hi, I'm Liam." I know, Liam. Thank you.
He's got a good face.
Do you have a name? Was he name tag guy today?
No, I don't think they had name tag. I don't know. They did all of name tags. They did all of the little things. But said hello to D'Amico Ryan. Said hello to Aaron Glenn briefly. Said hello to Pete Carroll, which was interesting. So yeah, it's cool seeing all these guys. Very casual. All the media guys. Impossible for the NFL. You got to see Schefter and him talking about the tush push a little bit. That was my big takeaway of the whole thing. Because these coaches don't give you a ton unless there's a story to follow. But I was impressed with Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, because Zach Taylor stuck around for about an hour and change doing stuff with the media, talking with all the beat writers, asking questions about them and their families and their schedules and the whole thing. I give Zach Taylor a lot of credit for that. It takes some humility, weirdly enough, to be that good with the media. I give him credit there. So you can see how some of these guys perform with their local beat writers that are traveling to go talk to them. So it was a cool little event. The NFL does a good job. And yeah, I got a kick out of it. You got the next one tomorrow at the NFC. So I enjoyed it. Number 3.
Number 3.
Speaking of the meetings, Joe Shane, the New York Giants GM, said that their pick at number 3 overall, they are, quote, at a position where we can take who we think is the best football player at that time. Is Palm Beach County native Travis Hunter gonna be that pick at number 3?
If I had to put money somewhere, I'd say yes.
So it'd be, I mean, if it is, Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors, almost said Jabril Peppers, excuse me. Pretty good tandem. Now, I'm assuming he'd play corner in the league, but I think he is going to be one of those rare cases where you're going to see him at receiver too. I don't know, it'd be a fun little team. Now, I'm not saying Russell Wilson's going to be a world beater and they're going to win 10 games or anything like that.
He raises the floor.
Certainly better than anything they had last year. Now, I think if you ask Giant fan, they're going to win 8 games and focus on getting the quarterback next year. I don't know. I know I was very hard on the Giants and Giant fan about a week and a half ago. They're probably going to get that best player available, and I'm assuming it's going to be Travis Hunter at this point.
You don't buy the Theo Dorsey, Shedeur Sanders to the Giants?
I mean, it's just, why sign Russell Wilson then? Wilson's going there to start.
You can sign Russell. Why sign James Winston?
Oh, yeah, that's... Why sign Tommy DeVito? He's still there, too.
Why? How many quarterbacks can you can only suit up 2 a week.
That's what I mean.
You're not bringing three to wait.
So what? You're drafting Shedeur Sanders to be on the practice squad if you're going to play Tommy Cutlets and all the others? I don't understand
the
it.
second they signed that second quarterback was the second they sealed their fate that they are probably out on these quarterbacks. This year.
And everything that just said, that Joe Sheen line you just read, does not sound like that. The conspiracy theory is going to come to fruition, right?
Yeah, best football player at the time. It doesn't sound like the second best quarterback.
And it sounds like, to be honest,
the quarterback very rarely is the best player on the board.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Colin. It sounds like he's throwing shade at the top 2 teams that are going to be selecting quarterbacks.
I don't know. I'd be blown away. They'd lose their job before the season started if they signed Russell Wilson, signed Jameis Winston, and then drafted a quarterback. I don't know. What is this? This is not quarterback by committee. You need one guy to work.
We're going to have Russell come in under center. We're going to have Shedeur come in the shotgun formation. Like, I'm with you.
Not yet. Number 4.
Number 4.
More news out from the Breakers at the NFL owners' meetings. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, that he is, quote, comfortable with Mason Rudolph being Pittsburgh's starting quarterback next season. Are you saying what he has to say, or are you actually buying that he believes this?
He's so stubborn, I actually believe him. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go?
Oh, God.
Are they going to go get a quarterback in the first round of the draft? Maybe. But he still's got to be comfortable with Rudolph in that spot.
Let me ask both of you this, because I have a ton. If you listen to the program, you know I know plenty of Steeler fans that I'm buddies with. I asked Squealer fan this question. I'm going to ask you guys it too. If Mike Tomlin wins 10 games, goes into the playoffs as a wild card with Mason Rudolph at quarterback and loses and isn't competitive in that first round, does he have a job in Pittsburgh next year?
They would never fire him. It would have to be an amicable split.
Fair enough. Christian?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. I think why would you fire Mike Tomlin? If it's Mason Rudolph, unless Mike Tomlin is your GM, judge, jury, executioner, those are the cards he's dealt, right?
I think if that can, and to answer my own question, I agree with the both of you. I think he steps away. I think that he'll be sick of the quote-unquote fans. I think he'll be sick of the operation that, hey, I've been here for how long since Ben Roethlisberger's been retired, and you've given me Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph?
Number 4.
Number 5.
Finally, on to Major League Baseball, the Yankees put up legendary numbers against the Brewers. 15 home runs, 35 runs in that 3-game opening series sweep versus Milwaukee. The talk of the town and the talk of Russo and Rizzo earlier today was the torpedo bats that the Yankees showcased in this series. 9 of those 15 home runs came from Yankees who adopted those bowling pin-style torpedo bat. Jazz Chisholm, Anthony Volpe. What's your thoughts on the torpedo bat?
I think people got to stop running away with the fact that this is cheating and that the bats all of a sudden turn an average hitter into a great hitter. It's not the case. The average hitter is hot, so therefore he is a good hitter, and he's got a good bat that maximizes his potential ability. It's like, going a little bit faster on a bike that suits your body. That's basically what this is. So they're finally starting to bring the analytical approach to bat specs, and I think that's interesting. And whether that's a good thing, we'll see. But I am perfectly fine with the torpedo bats.
I immediately thought it was cheating because I am a Guardian fan. I can't stand the Yankees. But as I said, I subconsciously heard Christian yelling at me, so I did my research. These things are perfectly legal. I am very interested to see if the Yankees continue to hit home runs at an astronomical rate.
That was our 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. On the flip side of things, after the timeout, we will talk with Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0. Stick around for it, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. March Madness is in full swing, and something is clearly missing, and that something is Cinderella. We talk a lot about NIL on the Sports Business Minute. Is NIL killing the Cinderella? Are these teams who can afford the good players ruining things for Cinderella this time around in March Madness? Time will tell, but as of right now, the highest seed is a 10 seed, and it is the Arkansas Razorbacks coached by John Calipari. Wouldn't necessarily call them an upsetter. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
The college basketball mania is here, so grab your MVP card and head on over to Duffy's to enjoy their courtside favorites, famous award-winning jumbo wings, certified Angus beef burgers, and 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. You'll never miss a minute of the action. And while it's tournament time, it's also Taste of Ireland time with special items like Irish potato skins and a Reuben burger. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to find a Duffy's near you. And remember, Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, the last day of March, the 31st of March, 2025. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat with you from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Welcoming in a good friend of the program, it is Mr. Jonathan Zazzo, the Zazzo Show 2.0. You can hear him filling in all the time over on ESPN Radio. Zaz, what's going on? How we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm actually very excited, all right? So you got the my alma mater, the Florida Gators. They are in the Final Four. I'm a huge bandwagon frontrunner. When it comes to my school, I jump right on that bandwagon, so I'm very pumped up for the Gators right now, guys.
All right, well, how do you feel right now? Because they kind of escaped.
Oh, yeah.
They bled quite a bit against UConn and definitely against Texas Tech. I thought they were dead to rights, down 75-66 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
I'm texting my buddy. He's out. He's not by a TV, so I'm giving him updates. And the update I gave him, I go, 9 minutes left, down 10, screwed. I thought it was over. I thought it was done. It's just such a stunning comeback the last few minutes. Obviously, you need a little bit of help there. Texas Tech misses 2 front ends of 1-and-1s. That's 4 points you're leaving on the board. You miss those 2 shots. And just incredible shot making from Houck and Clayton Jr. Unbelievable. So, I feel really good about them against Auburn, but I will say the Gators have not put together a 40-minute game yet this tournament. And you could say, okay, that's a good thing. Like they're in the Final Four, and they haven't put together a 40-minute game yet. You do that against Duke, you're going to get run out the building. So maybe it's coming, but they better play a full 40 minutes if they get to the championship.
Is there something to be said that they're resilient, Zaz, that, hey, they've been through it all this tournament. They've played close games. They've pulled out close games. Is there anything to be said about that, how they know how to win a close game?
Yeah, but I at the same time, they're not going to be within striking distance of Duke if they don't play.
Right.
If they
so you're with me
the first half.
So Zaz, you're with me. You think Duke? In my opinion, at least, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think Duke by far the UConn this year from everything that I've seen.
Duke definitely played the most impressive game of the tournament this weekend in the win against Alabama. You hold that team to 65. It was never close. It's not like Duke shot the lights out from 3. They only attempted 13 3-point field goals. They made 6 of them, Duke, all right? And they crushed Alabama. So right now, you can't be taken seriously if you're not going to say that Duke is the prohibitive favorite in the Final Four.
Now, Zaz, are you the Florida fan because Florida basketball is tremendously underrated, in my opinion. They won the 2 straight under Donovan. They went back to the national championship and lost to the UConn that one year. The bunch of Elite Eights, the whole thing. Now they got Todd Golden in here, and in year 3, completely turned that program around and in the Final Four. Is losing in the Final Four, are you one of these college basketball fans where that is almost a victory in of itself? If they lose on Saturday, you know what? Positive outlook on the season, or are we win or go home time?
Oh, it's expectations change, right? You get to a point in the season where you realize, we're really good. We would have thought winning maybe at the start of the season, being a contender in the SEC, get to the Sweet 16, maybe that counts as a big-time season. Well, expectations change. Once you realize that, hey, we're a national title contender, let's win the whole thing. So obviously, if the Gators fall short now, be it in the Final Four or in the championship game, it'll be disappointing because they're right there and they're certainly good enough. But even if they lose this Saturday to Auburn, which I don't think they will, but even if they lose this Saturday to Auburn, getting to the Final Four is a massive victory. I mean, that's why they call it the Final Four. You win your region, you win the regional championship. That's a major, major season, no matter what happens the rest of the way. But like I said, expectations change. You're not a Cinderella. You're not even a team that was a 4 or 5 seed. You were the 1 seed. Go win the whole thing.
Zaz, I want to ask you the impossible. Would you take a Canes championship in basketball or a Gator championship in basketball? Which one would be sweeter? And I know I'm putting you in a tough spot because, you're from the Miami area. You worked in Miami longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And, you went to Florida.
Well, here's what I'll say. The way that I've always answered this, and it hasn't been necessarily, hey, pick a championship.
Right.
But the way that I've always answered this is I did a radio show for 18 years in Miami. I now do a podcast in Miami. And what's best for business is for the Miami Hurricanes, not a school in Gainesville, to be successful. People listen to my show. People listen to Miami radio when I was on Miami radio. They want to hear about the Hurricanes. No one wants to hear about the Gators. So with that said, what's best for business, and that being my show, is the Hurricanes having success. And I will also tell you, I've witnessed the Gators obviously win a couple of national championships. Granted, it was right after I went to school there, but I've witnessed a couple of national championships, and I've obviously seen them get to the Final Four a handful of times. 2 years ago, when the Hurricanes went to the Final Four, that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. We've never experienced anything like that before. So I guess the point that I'm driving home is the next craziest thing to the Hurricanes being in the Final Four would be to actually win the national championship.
Jonathan Zazzo, the Zazzo Show 2.0, joining Russo and Rizzo now. Zaz, it's league meeting time, so everybody's up here at the Breakers in Palm Beach, as in the head coaches throughout the NFL, all the media throughout the NFL, all the owners throughout the NFL. And it sounds like this tush push is getting a bit of steam in terms of being banned. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but are you pro, anti? Is this a joke that they're even considering this? What's your perspective?
Didn't it used to be a rule in college where you cannot push the ball handler across the line of scrimmage, right?
You could pull, you can't pull, but you could push. Is that it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, why would you pull? That seems pretty awkward. You're on one side,
but I'm pretty. There is a rule with that, with offensive linemen being able to pull versus push. And I
feel like you used to not be able to push the ball carrier. Across the line.
It says players cannot grab the inside back or side collar of the shoulder pads and pull them down. Obviously, that's a horse collar.
Well, that's for a defender.
A defensive player. We're talking about offensive players.
I totally thought it was going to be offense. But I swear I saw a flag earlier in the college season where exactly what we're talking about, of getting pushed from the back and going in for a touchdown, and they moved back 5. So.
I mean, look, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't want to sit on the fence. I don't have a terribly strong opinion about it. I don't have a problem with what the Eagles are doing. The Eagles did not win the Super Bowl this year because of the tush push. That's for sure. It's not like, hey, we're picking up 3 yards a down. We're doing it first down, second down, third down, fourth down, and we're just moving the ball across the field. Nobody can stop it. That's not what's happening here. If they want to ban it, they could ban it. I really don't feel too strongly about it one way or the other, to be honest.
So a runner can be pushed and driven forward, but no teammate may grasp, pull, or lift the ball carrier to assist in forward progress.
So they are still allowed to do that in college. I think at one point that they were not allowed to do that, so they must have changed that years ago.
Yeah, if they're going to add a little bit of a caveat, you got to wait a second before the previous guy can start driving the quarterback from behind. Whatever it may be, the blocking scheme, if they're going to outlaw something.
I don't know, you can only do it once a drive, maybe something like that.
I don't know. But my perspective is this is stupid because this is a football play that the Eagles have perfected. It's not like they're not exploiting resources. They're not exploiting players. They just have players that have built for that play, and they've mastered something, and everybody else doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, the play doesn't offend me. They want to ban it. Like I said, ban it if you want to. don't ban it. I don't feel strongly about it either way.
Interesting. And what about the other one that's being brought up is the divisionals and how they seed the NFL playoffs?
Oh, no, I hope they don't change this. I have no issue with it. It doesn't happen all that often where it's an 8-win team or an 8-win team hosting a 12-win team in the first round. If they are going to change it, I guess we're talking about if you win the division, it just guarantees you a playoff game, right? That's what we would talk about. It doesn't guarantee you a home playoff game. I don't like it. I like if you win your division. You play those teams twice a year. It's regional. It has to. It means something. It does. It's an important thing to win your division. Teams are built. See, you build your roster based on the other teams in your division. And so if that's the case, I think it's worth a home game in that first round.
Isn't it interesting that the Lions were kind of the team to bring this to the forefront too, Sass?
Oh, was it the Lions who formally made the request?
This was about 2.5 weeks ago. I brought it up to Colin on our 5 at 5 segment, and it just made no sense to me because the Lions dominated that division for 2 years.
I guess you would have figured the Vikings should be the ones that bring it up, right?
That won 14 games and, didn't win the division.
Maybe the Lions are good sportsmanship by the Lions. Look, it didn't hurt us. We want to make an amendment here. But I hope they do not change it. I have no problem
Don't you
with
think it's and something Colin and I talked too, it's like, I think they actually with the NBA. I can't stand the playing tournament.
It means nothing with the NBA.
That's what I mean. Like baseball, do we have too many wild card teams? Like I personally like it, but I know the conversation surrounding about that. I think the NFL kind of perfected it to a point.
I like it. I also like that it's only one team as opposed to it was two for a while. Before that, it was one.
Yeah, it's good.
The bye.
You got to preserve the top teams playing hard.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So I like that it's only one team that gets the bye. No, winning your division is important. I mean, you telling me that in the AFC North, all right, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, they don't build their rosters based on those other teams in their division? Of course they do. And if that's the case, it has to count. Like, it can't just be, hey, we're building our roster to compete in the division just so we can sneak into the playoffs. No, it's because if you win your division, you get a home game. So I'm totally fine with it. Keep it the way it is.
I agree. Don't play 6 games against your divisional opponents if you want to change the rule.
Yep.
Yeah.
Change that.
Yep.
All right, then make it completely even amongst the AFC and the NFC. Then change it.
And I don't want that. So
and see how the fans
keep it the way it is.
see how the fans react to that.
Yeah.
If they really want, if the Viking fans are that pissed off, they're not going to be able to play at Lambeau a year. They're not going to have the Packers come into town once a year.
Yeah.
See how they feel about that.
Keep it the way it is.
See, completely agree. To segue once more here, Mike and I we had somebody from Chandler Bats on with the torpedo bats with the MLB. The Yankees tied the MLB record with 15 home runs in their first 3 games. And now it's all eyes are upon these new bats and the analytical approach that goes into it, how the barrel is lower, and how the Yankees were a big beneficiary over the weekend. Is this a little too ticky-tack for you? Do you hate when teams exploit something like this? Should this be just like a normal bat for everybody? What's your perspective?
I don't think they're exploiting anything. A bat can only be a certain length, a certain maximum weight, and they decided to build their bats a little bit differently. They're not getting out there with metal bats, all right? They're still wood bats. I have no issue with it whatsoever. It's not – I don't understand. I know it was Trevor McGill, right, for the Brewers. Boy, can you sound like a bigger baby?
It's 2 games into the season, Trevor.
It's not as if – there's not an unfair advantage of the pitcher. You're still trying to paint corners. You're still trying to catch the outside of the plate. So if that's the case and the barrel's been moved down, maybe that helps the pitcher a little bit. He's not getting the barrel on the ball when he's painting the opposite side of the corners of the plate. So I have no issue with it. I thought it was a really cool thing. My biggest question is, why did it take us so long? Why did it take us the year 2025, our Lord, to figure out that maybe this is something that could benefit our hitters?
All it took, Zaz, was a guy who went to MIT. So, fair play to him, right?
Got a big brain.
Right? And I'm starting to think it's a Brewer problem. Zaz, I don't know if you saw, partner. 11-1. Happy opening day, Milwaukee. You just got smacked up in New York for 3 games. Now you come home and lose 11-1 to the Royals. Wow.
Yeah, maybe the Brewers are crappy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe
that's
lousy.
it. Maybe that's it. And it's also, there's professional hitters. You didn't just give them like the magic bat and all of a sudden they could get the barrel to the ball off.
And by the way, I saw some of the highlights there. I mean, Brewers pitchers were throwing meatballs.
That's what I said. How about Nestor Cortez? Oh, my God. Former Yankee Nestor Cortez. 3 home runs in a row.
Yeah.
back to back to back to start game 2 of a 3-game series.
How about give me a changeup? Give me something off the plate a little bit. Just grooving it right down the middle.
One thing that's interesting is, I watched that Yankee game, was Judge. It's incredible because Aaron Judge is the most unhittable person I've ever seen. With my own 2 eyes playing baseball at this point in time. He's unpitchable. And post-Labor Day, essentially, Judge gets gone with the wind. It's incredible. And I'm ready to say, based on how well he has played, and even at the beginning part of this year, and small sample size, but it's fine. It still counts for the.
It's on pace for 300 home runs this year, right?
This is as good of a peak, of a hitting peak, as baseball has seen since Bonds. I don't think it's debatable. This guy had 58 homers, and then he had 40 homers in about 100 games, and then he had 62 homers 3 years ago, and he had the Triple Crown last year.
You're right. It's not like somebody could say, hey, Colin, it's been 3 days. Settle down. You see what he's done the last couple seasons. You're right. Amazing.
And they asked him about using a torpedo bat, Zaz, because apparently he has one. He goes, I think my track record speaks for itself.
He'll be just fine.
I think Aaron Judge is one of the best regular season hitters I've ever seen. And to Colin's point, I think it Bonds, right? That's really the only guy you could compare him to. And personally, I can't stand the Yankees, but it's only a matter of time till, he really is that guy in the playoffs too. Because I realistically says,
hold on.
I think
31.
I think he has 3 more years of playing at this level.
Yeah, but you know what? We could have had the same conversation, Colin, about Bonds. When Bonds was 31 years old, he was not a playoff performer. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point in his career where, he became what he was, and he's amazing all the time.
How did he become what he was?
That's up for debate.
How did he become what he? Come on, I'll defend Bonds. He was unreal in Pittsburgh too. I understand it wasn't the power, but come on, guys, you still maybe he was on the juice. Maybe he was. You still got to be a good baseball player.
He was still an MVP.
My God, man, I could do juice. Doubt. I could come in here, roid it out of my mind. I'm gonna strike out on
Nobody's
3
saying
pitches.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad baseball player. I'm saying 74
home
runs.
Bonds
Maybe we should call a timeout at how he's getting this done.
Bonds is my GOAT. Zaz, by the way, I think Barry Bonds best baseball player I've ever seen. The best baseball player I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's the greatest hitter I've ever seen as well.
Not even close.
You cheated, and there's no doubt about it.
Maybe,
yeah. Zaz, never innocent.
It's a pretty likely.
Zaz, I thought it was innocent. Zaz, I thought it was innocent till proven guilty.
There's
what do you mean?
There's numbers to back it up.
What do you mean?
Hit the gym quite hard in between 2002 and 2004.
That head was really big.
Yeah, and the roid rage. You never know. But Zaz, really quickly here, how are you handling this weekend? And by the way, I'm curious, are you raising your kids to be Gator fans or Miami Hurricane fans?
I want my older son. We're at the point now. He's 16. We're at the point now where we're looking at schools and that kind of deal.
So you're waiting him to figure that out.
I'd really like him to go to University of Florida. I mean, Miami is a private school, so that's really out of the question anyway. I want them to root for both. As we live down here in Miami, why wouldn't we want to root for Miami? And we watch the Gators on television. We hope the Gators do well. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's not the answer you want to hear, but that's the way we roll in the Zaslow Mansion. We got the team that I grew up rooting for, the school that I grew up rooting for, and the school that I went to. So, there you go.
That's fair enough. Zaz, what's going on with Anajar really quick? Where can people tune in to listen to you if they want to tune into more Jonathan Zazo?
Well, listen, nationally, of course, ESPN Radio. That includes tomorrow night. I host Game Night every Tuesday night with Courtney Cronin. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Radio. You can hear ESPN West Palm. And Zaslow Show 2.0. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can download Zaslow Show 2.0. We are Miami-based. Everything 305. I love you long time. Like, rate, comment, all that good stuff. It's great for the algorithm. That's great for me. And Zaslow Show 2.0 is brought to everyone by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Any kind of accident you're in, if you're dealing with a personal injury, it could be from a hit and run, motorcycle, boating, slip and fall. You call 911 first. You got to make sure you're safe. And then you call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They get you the compensation you deserve. 800-747-FREE. Zaz, we appreciate it as always. Looking forward to talking again next week. Best of luck to Florida this weekend. It'll be a championship Monday when we talk next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Well, you're don't sell Auburn short. Okay. Don't sell them short. All right, we'll see. They got a little bit of boost. But appreciate it, Zaz, as always. See you guys. That's Jonathan Zazo. Listen to him on the Zazo Show 2.0 and also on Game Night on Tuesday nights alongside Courtney Cronin. We got the Final Four coming up. You got the MLB finally in full-fledged. You got Live Golf coming up this weekend. You had Scotty Scheffler come within minutes or 2 strokes of winning the Houston Open over the weekend.
No better time to really get started on Hard Rock Bet. If you download the app today in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, you can get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't even hit. So that bet can be a parlay, prop, over, whatever you like to bet, any game you choose. Put as little as $1 into a parlay. Increase your odds up to 20 legs. Do player props. Don't take Mike's advice on the baseball side of things today.
We're back in the saddle tomorrow, all right? We're back in the lab tomorrow. International and I, our parlay fell apart, but we're back in the saddle tomorrow.
Being 0 for 10 is bad for you, but it's good for everybody else because just fade Mike and you make money.
Yeah, just fade.
Are you 0 for 10?
No, I'm not 0 for 10.
Feels like it.
And hang on, who said it's going to be an all 1-seed Final Four, and who made $200 on Hard Rock Bet this weekend?
All
That's
right.
Mike Rizzo.
Flowers given.
All right.
Thank you.
So Mike did that, but you can go download Hard Rock Bet and get started. Join in today. Check out the Discover page, see what other users are putting together, and tag and tap along. Just a few short taps. That's how easy it is. That's how fun it is over on Hard Rock Bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Well, we got to streak away a new thing coming up next segment. But first, if you're got a car and a couple dust spots all over it, you're looking to get a car wash. Well, today's your lucky day because we are giving out a free car wash with unlimited auto wash, one car wash. And all you got to do is call in 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. Caller number 4. Caller number 4 calls in and he or she gets lucky and gets a free car wash with unlimited auto wash. 888-760-3776. Call it now. We take a timeout and close out the program next. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Time now for the Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. Every Player of the Week is eligible to win a scholarship at the end of the year. This year, a $25,000 scholarship will be awarded to an athlete, with $10,000 going to the winner's high school athletic department. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond. Here's Cade Chumsland.
Our Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week is Lucas Moore from the Wellington boys basketball team. In the Best of Palm Beach All-Star semifinal last week, Lucas drained 6 straight three-pointers in his team's victory. Here he is on the difference between an All-Star game and his home team.
It's definitely a fun atmosphere, but I don't think there's anything quite like playing for your school. I love Coach Colin, Coach Mickens, all them, those are my guys. Like, playing for them is really fun playing for them. They let me do what I can on the court.
Congratulations, Lucas, on being selected this week's Land Rover Palm Beach Player of the Week.
The school district of Palm Beach County is your best choice.
It's time to step into kindergarten. Parents, the School District of Palm Beach County is now enrolling kindergarten students for the upcoming school year. Register now at palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten. Find out when to attend your school's kindergarten kickoff and how to get your free kindergarten readiness kit. That's palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten.
I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Trying something new here on a Monday on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 with Christian Catt, Mike Rizzo, and Colin Russo with you. So, Mike mentioned how he had a bad day of betting and putting games together on baseball today. But the good news is you got tomorrow. It resets and reflushes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, because we need to string together a couple wins here, determine who's going to get what. Let's compete a little bit. It's time for us to go streaking, presented by Hard Rock Bet. So when we streak with Hard Rock Bet, we are looking for one game and one game only apiece. And we are going to put it up. And if we win, we build our streak. If we don't, we reset. Or if we lose, if you lose every game, I still count that as a streak.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And start fading.
I still count that as a streak.
My buddies have a saying, fade accordingly, folks. This isn't rocket science. Fade accordingly.
I still would do it. Losing, same streak as winning. I'm okay with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table here. We're going to make one pick against the spread, a minus 110 bet, and we're going to try to streak this all together. Go weekly. We'll see what the standings look like, if anybody can put anything together. But we're doing this with our friends over at Hard Rock Bet. Mike Rizzo, you already had a rough start to the day. Are we resetting now for this pick?
Wow. Yeah. Let's reset, and I'm going to familiar grounds. Give me my Guardians, man. They're getting plus odds tonight, plus 115 for the Guards in San Diego. Now, I understand San Diego just swept the Atlanta Braves, but I got high hopes for Luis Ortiz, the pitcher for the Guards tonight. He was a big acquisition for the Guards in the offseason. Now he got shelled in spring training. Hey, C-Cat, I see you looking at me. Don't look at his spring training numbers. But even without Jose Ramirez, the Guards had like 6-7 runs yesterday with Kyle Manzardo. Give me the Guards tonight over the Padres. Padres get their first loss of the year.
All right.
Christian, you got one for me.
I do. I'm going to go to the NBA. Why? Because the Miami Heat are a smart organization. The Miami Heat know that they don't really have a championship opportunity this year. So what's the next best thing? Bettering next year's team. Having a better chance at a better draft pick for this upcoming NBA draft. So I'm going to fade the Heat because that's what's best for business. Take the Washington Wizards tonight, a 7 o'clock tip-off.
I see what you did there.
Wizards +9.
I see what you did.
Bet on Memphis to lose. Boston's -5 tonight in Memphis's building. I need Memphis to go 4-4 to win my over-under.
That's what you need, but not what you think's going to happen.
I think they're going to lose.
Okay.
So this is not my emotion kicking in. This is my quantitative numbers thinking. Memphis has a back-to-back. They got Boston today, and they got the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. They played the Lakers, they lost. They played the Thunder, they lost. They fired their coach on Friday. This team's a dumpster fire. I need them to go 4-4. I don't think it's going to happen. And I think it's going to start tonight, losing to Boston. Boston -5 on the road in Memphis' building. I mean, Boston.
Christian, I sense some serious reverse psychology from Colin over there. He's putting it out into the world so that they will theoretically win. I don't mind the strategy.
It's hedging.
It's 110% hedging and
I'm
emotion.
trying to change up the mojo.
I'm here for it.
Change up the mojo.
I'm here for it.
So we're all at 0. This is the first day where Let's Go Streaking presented by Hard Rock Bet. And we'll see where we go.
Yes.
Do we root for ourselves to lose if you lose your first pick? Because in order to extend your streak,
I'm trying to win.
I think our fans should be rooting for you to lose if you start 0-1.
For sure.
If you tried to win and you kept losing, you got to keep trying to win because then therefore you lose. When
That's
you try
true.
to lose, you're going to start winning.
Oh, my God. So paradoxical.
Understand.
My head's going to hurt.
Yeah. Understand
So
whether you're going for a win and you're getting it or you're going for a win and losing it. Understand that mojo.
Also, I know this game means absolutely nothing to the parlay because the 2 games already didn't hit, the one that I did earlier. But the third game I had was the Cardinals beating the Angels. So if we have any listeners out there as well, fade accordingly. I took the Cardinals in that game. The Cardinals are undefeated. Maybe fade accordingly with the Angels tonight. Maybe Mike Trout gets a grand slam or something. You know, I was ice cold earlier today. That's all I know.
Need Memphis to go 4-4. If they win, I'll be a happy loser because therefore I need them to go 3-4 to finish off the season with 8 games remaining, with a back-to-back against 2 very good teams in their building. I don't know. I'm about on my last straw with Memphis. I need them to win 48 games to win my over/under. They're 44-31 or 44-30. I'm at a breaking point with them.
How's that interim coach? Have you watched?
They lost the first game they played to the Lakers. They played them well enough, but it doesn't matter. You don't fire a coach with 9 games remaining. That was Let's Go Streaking presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. Now this is the interesting time of the NBA because now I'm going to be following for playoff implications, but I'm also going to be following for my over-unders. I need Memphis to win some games here.
Yeah, you do.
Very annoyed by that. Very, very annoyed.
Now, you
by
hit
that.
the other one. Now, he was on the under for The easiest money in the NBA season was the Sixers, right, Colin?
Or the Cavs over, which I also had.
Correct. So he's already in the, he's in the green. This is just, extra money.
You're pouring it on here.
They were 35-16 February 5th. They were 35-16.
And how many games did they need at that level?
At that point,
Yeah.
12.
Oh,
13.
God.
Wow, you were spending the money already.
Yeah.
It was February 5th. It was
Bought a plane ticket
40.
already.
That was 50 days ago. More.
Where are you going? He's going what? Machu Picchu?
Peru.
Spending his tickets. Getting his tickets.
And I found out today I did my taxes wrong, so I actually owe a little money there.
Ooh, that's a good reminder for me, actually, and everyone out there to do your taxes.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I'm down. I could use a win here. I could use a win.
What's your normal tax return routine if you do get money back? What do you splurge that on?
It's not happening this year, so I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't really have a splurge thing for that. What do you do?
I usually gamble it. I usually take that cash.
On Hard Rock Bet.
Yeah. And I usually go to just Hard Rock Hollywood, or I throw it on the game on the app. That's usually my routine. Do you have anything to splurge upon when you get tax money back?
Yeah, I you know me, guys. Big video game guy. I usually pre-order something, but I'm with. I think I'm paying this year. I think I'm paying this year. Whew. Now, my cousin Michael.
I didn't handle a couple forms properly. And part of it is the higher-ups, their problem as well. But we fixed it. We're all set.
Let's put it this way. Cousin Michael is doing my taxes, and I think Cousin Michael said I owe. So.
Dang. It's tough.
Yep, we close out on a Monday edition. Down in the red. I could use a win here with Memphis going 4-4. That's Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Colin Russo with you. If you missed any of the show today, want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. As we send you off saying so long, we'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 106.3.